I think we should be good. And I am recording. So I am ready to start whenever, I guess Josh is ready.
We're ready, and we're most likely going to keep this opening part in because we're professional like that.
I mean, it's highly possible.
Alright, so, hello, everyone. Welcome to take 3 of this Pikcast, number 10, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And
Special
okay.
Pikcast episode number 10.
It's special, but we're not doing anything special. We lied to you all, just like we did April Fools, because that's who we are.
I see the haters now.
So, we're just gonna get right into things. So, first off is our introduction, which is what is going on here. So, in the call, we have me, JPM, Josh, and some other third name that I can't think of. We have Luther. We have Nathan.
I am here.
We have Jordan.
I'm gonna be a star.
Burn.
Who is our mute.
He said not to mention him.
Oh. Jordan is not here.
Now he's swearing at me in the chat.
That's not.
And then... and then, our last person who is breathing heavily is Patrick. He is our newest member, and we'll be explaining Patricking later on. So, first, that was our introduction we just did. So, we're going to be talking about the Olimar Amiibos, as well as compatibility. And looking back on it, we might have wanted to combine number 5 and number 2 and the script together, which is Olimar Amiibo stuff. We're going to be talking about merchandise. I still don't know why we have Nintendo World Series on there. That was the...
That's merchandise too.
That's
you combine all 3 of
well.
those.
Okay. We could have combined every of these things. Woolly World Olimar Amiibo support, which will move to the Olimar Amiibo stuff. Rumors of a Chibi Robo Pikmin crossover game, which we'll be talking about a little bit. Some big news, which is we finally are able to tear things out of Pikmin 3, and we've been finding all kinds of undiscovered goodies and treasures in the files. And we're also going to be looking for new video ideas for our YouTube channel that all of you guys, the lovely viewers, want to see from us. And then Patrick's thing. And then end.
It's an introduction.
It's his introduction thing. So, which we'll be going about. So Patrick is going to be here, Patricking. All right, so first thing that is on the list are Olimar Amiibos. There is Olimar Amiibos available. As far as I'm aware, they're not an exclusive anywhere. They're compatible with Super Smash Bros., Mario Kart 8, insert picture here of extremely cool looking Mii Racer costume. They're compatible with Yoshi Woolly World. I don't know if there's a picture of the Olimar Yoshi. Okay, insert that picture here. What else are they?
Mario Maker. That's actually brand new.
Mario Maker. Do we have a picture of the sprite yet?
There's actually 2. It's very interesting. There's a Olimar, and then there's also a 3 Pikmin combo with the red, yellow, and blue Pikmin.
You unlock costumes by playing through 100 Mario mode.
I know nothing on Mario Maker other than you make Marios. So I guess we can go talk a little bit about. I guess we did. Anyway, back to Amiibo support. I think it's going to be compatible with Hyrule Warriors, right?
Yep.
I believe so.
It's general compatibility with Hyrule Warriors, and then also there was another game that was just released. General compatibility. I believe the Chibi Robo game. It's going to have.
By the people. I think it was by the people who made Steel Diver.
Yes.
There's a Pikmin themed like jet or a submarine.
Yeah, Ace Combat
Pikmin-based
Assault
military.
Horizon Legacy Plus. there is supposedly an Olimar themed jet fighter. There's actually no images. It's actually quite strange because Olimar is listed as a compatible amiibo on the Nintendo website for this game. However, all of the other compatible amiibos for this game have had images showcasing the results, and Olimar is the only other one that hasn't had a picture, which is kind of strange, but it is listed there. So there should be an Olimar themed jet in that game.
Which is very interesting. Any other major titles that will be compatible with Olimar?
Obviously, Amiibo Tap. It's gonna have general. It's gonna have general compatibility.
There's gonna be Pikmin DLC for Splatoon. Just watch.
There's gonna be they're gonna have like some kind of ink gun that it's like a Gatling gun, but it just rapid fires pick out of the Gatling gun. And like, as they hit the wall, they die. So you're like.
Hyrule Warriors, Captain Toad, and Mario Party 10 all have general compatibility. Like, you scan the Olimar Amiibo, it's gonna happen the same way it does.
Assuming that Animal Crossing board game that's coming out will have compatibility with it, right?
We don't know that. It's not confirmed, but yeah, that's pretty assumed.
Okay. Anything else for Amiibo support?
I think that's it. Also confirmed, it does have a yellow Pikmin on the back if we haven't been over this.
That's right. It has a confirmed yellow Pikmin. Anyone who is drastically concerned over it not having a yellow Pikmin, have faith in yourself. Or have faith in Nintendo. Although, didn't they have the exact, like, I know that the pose is from Smash, but wasn't that for, the original, like, position for the 3 Pikmin, hasn't that been around since the Melee trophy? Where the red is on one side, the blue is on the other side, and yellow's in the back?
Don't know. Possibly.
Well, it's there. It's traditional. If you're a Pikmin fan, get it. Don't be square. Don't be a Luther.
It's kind of funny because the blue Pikmin is hiding behind Olimar in
Melee?
In Melee, but now it's the yellow Pikmin. Although he's not directly hiding, he's just kind of hidden.
Luther, stop getting in gang fights in the main
The
chat.
red Pikmin never changed position.
So yeah, that's the Amiibos. Amiiboing. I guess that can tie into merch, which I guess Nathan can cover more.
Yeah, so I have recently, and I'll probably post something on the Twitter if I haven't already, updated the merchandise page on the Pikipedia. And I found tons of new information. I organized a lot of the old information and actually fixed a lot of the old information. A lot of it was inaccurate. I found things none of us had even heard of before, one of which I actually purchased. It was a selection of 3 Pikmin plushes that was made by the same company as those Pikmin plush hat things that you can wear. And they were so rare that there had only been like 1 eBay listing in all of history, and I bought that. I'm not going to tell you how much it cost. But the benefit is now I have like all the company names on there, most of them, so you can go and actually find those things yourself and actually be able to find those things, because a lot of them, I mean, it took me tons of hours of research time to actually find the things, so that's gonna be cool. Go get yourself some merch.
Yeah. Nintendo sponsor us because we're sponsoring you. Please. Less than 3. Alright, so that is merchandise. Nintendo World Series is merchandise, Woolly World merchandise, blah blah. Okay, next. Chibi Robo Pikmin crossover thing. So the developer of Chibi Robo, I think the company is Skip, right?
I'm not sure.
The people who the team, the developer of Chibi Robo, whatever his name is, I think he's part of the company Skip. He showed in an I think it was in an interview, he showed interest in a Chibi Robo Pikmin crossover game, which I think is cool.
Hopefully
Yeah,
it will, because I actually thought of this idea beforehand, and I always thought it was a good idea. Because I mean, Chibi Robo is only 4 times bigger than like Olimar.
Yeah, if even, and they could probably easily adjust sizes or one. I mean, I know a lot of people aren't a fan of Chibi Robo Photo Finder, but they could always do the. They can. Damn it, Luther.
Sorry, I'm just trying to say. Here's what I think is probably gonna happen. Is it's probably gonna reveal that like one of the last like models of Chibi Robos were like micro Chibi Robos. And
The little like mini Chibis from Photo Finder.
yeah, and they were around the size of Olimar, so they could probably take on a role similar to the captain or something like that.
It could be like what I was thinking is that it's like a Chibi Robo game kind of thing, but then Olimar shows up. Kind of like there, you can look at it from like it's a Pikmin game and Chibi Robo shows up, or it's a Chibi Robo game and Olimar shows up. But yeah, that's a thing that is been mentioned.
It's just
So we're
a thing that just happened.
and we're mentioning it.
It has gathered
Yeah.
all of the hypes.
It has. So next on the list is also very big news. Is SBO Andre. I don't know some third name that we call SBO.
Wait, Silva, that's his name.
Silva. He has recently torn open the Pikmin 3 files like a bowl of haggis. That's sheep's stomach, so he cut open a sheep's. He's cut open Pikmin 3 and has pulled out numerous different files, images, models, textures, of all kinds of delicious goody thingies that were and were not in Pikmin 3, the game, but we found in the files. So, should we like list them off, I guess?
Well, we actually have all of them, all of the enemies listed on the Pikmin Pikipedia. Not gonna call it Pikmin.
Almost all of them. For some reason, he hasn't put the armored cannon beetle there yet.
Ah, so he hasn't.
So,
Yeah, but aside from that, they're all there.
so essentially we found all kinds of stuff. We have found the armored cannon beetle from Pikmin 1.
It is actually listed, but there's no images attached.
We found like models of the Ravenous Whisker Pillar with a different color palette. We have found Emperor Ball Black textures. We have found some weird giant bug thingy that apparently had invisibility powers.
Okay, let me just give a brief explanation. So basically, it's like a purple and yellow sea slug-like creature with a leech mouth. If you played Monster Hunter, its mouth looks like the Kazu's mouth. It has these really long antennas with like, I can't tell if they're eyes at the very top or if they're just like little feathers, little orange feathers.
Their eyes.
Yeah, okay, so it had like really long eye stalks, and it has these three green spots on each side of its face, which could be like additional eyes, we don't really know yet. It had like a yellow underbelly. The name that was attached to the file was Pikipedia. I did some research, and apparently that means, that roughly translates to magical cloak of invisibility, which means it probably had some ability to camouflage. It probably had like you know, if you know what chromatophores are, which is like what the call them.
Wait, so it has the ability to be invisible. What if it is in the game?
That's that's actually something that we said before. Like, what if this is secretly in the game, somewhere just invisible? You know, that actually wouldn't surprise me because I don't know. This is kind of out of context, but it's just something interesting. In Spore, there's a button that they forgot to give a purpose, but it still exists in the game. It's just untextured. But if you move your mouse over it, you can still hear the sound effect of when you mouse over a button.
Or we could have been like the example being the Ujandi or whatever.
That,
Or
so
we did not know you don't know they're in the game until like 30 days in or something like that.
yeah, what if it shows up in like some like really obscure location in like day 99?
Because it has textures, and when
It looks
Espio-
relatively unfinished. I mean, it looks relatively finished.
according to Espio, he said that it was full. It had skeletons for animation, which unfortunately I wasn't able to see because he only sent me OBJs and it's a bunch of technical mumbo jumbo stuff. But it looks like it's fully rigged. The antenna were rigged to actually be flexible, so possibly like legs.
I would like to state it's about the size of an adult Bulbman.
Yeah, it's like in between the size. It's like just smaller than a standard Red Bull board.
It actually, did you say it has animations associated with it?
It has an animation skeleton. I don't know if it was actually rigged to be animated, because SBO didn't send me a file, but he sent me the object itself with textures.
Oh, so skeleton animations.
Yeah, so basically that just means Well, no. It could be easily fine-tuned. It's just that what skeleton animations are, it's like literally a skeleton of pyramids stacked up on top of each other that can be moved and whatnot and flexed around. And usually they can be very robotic-y looking animations, but depending on the game engine will make it flow and look better. So.
Right.
So there's that.
And apparently it has 3,000 HP. Which...
Yeah, we were also finding stats and stuff and whatnot.
Which leads me to believe it's almost like a boss, because like a Bulborb has 1,000. So...
It could be a mini boss.
Yeah, like a mini boss, like maybe a... what's the one frog?
The
Can I just say the Ravenous Whisker Pillar we found has 1,125 health?
Probably a placeholder.
That's a beefy caterpillar. We also
I'm just imagining Heimlich from The Bug's Life with the really fat caterpillar.
Oh yes.
Beautiful butterfly.
Oh yeah, and so we said all of the new enemies that we found. There's also a bunch of stuff that's just like thrown in from Pikmin 2. Like to the point where it is like the same file.
Yeah, like some of them just had like updated textures and stuff. One that was relatively interesting that you haven't mentioned yet. I don't know if you're getting to it, but I might as well just spit it out right now.
Rocky long legs.
Yeah, there was a creature that, according to its Japanese name, it was probably going to be called, assuming that if it would have been in the actual game, it probably would have been called the Rocky Longlegs. Basically what it was an arachnoid like the beady longlegs and whatnot, but instead of having the traditional round body, its body was flattened at the bottom. It looked almost like it's a round...
Bell-shaped.
Yeah, where you'd expect it's like the round body to be, it almost looked like it just had an enlarged version of one of the feet, like it was bell-shaped. And judging by the animation skeleton, it probably would have attacked by like smashing its body down onto you.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really weak enemy.
We also found a thing called Crystal Marrow Frog, which...
Yeah, that one. What was it? Oh, okay, yeah, the Crystal Marrow Frog, that one. It was literally a Wollywog, like the standard Wollywogs from Pikmin 1 and 2. The model was like touched up. Apparently those were going to be in the game. I don't know why they weren't. They had a HD model and everything. But it was retextured to be like brown and purple. But what was really interesting about it is that it has a crystal nodule just embedded into its stomach. I don't know exactly what purpose that would have served.
It doesn't even look like it's like embedded into it. It looks like it's just like there, like it's just sitting on it or something.
like I don't know how that would have worked. I mean, because it would have served the exact same purpose, crushing Pikmin.
My idea was that it was originally, when they were still thinking about the Pikmin types, that since it had a rock on its stomach, it had the ability to crush rock Pikmin and shatter the rocks.
Or
maybe.
Or maybe what was something interesting to that. Maybe the reason that the model for the crystal nodule was there, maybe it wasn't actually rendered. Instead, just the texture was. So it was given like the same, like crystalline sheen on its body. Maybe like its whole body resembled like a crystally frog, maybe. Or something like that.
Maybe there was going to be another model that would attach onto it from the side.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Maybe.
Here's something.
It could all.
No, go ahead, Josh.
No, I guess it's not too important. You can go.
No, I was just gonna say something that we totally forgot to mention in the last two takes. An interesting find. The Plasm Wraith technically does not exist in the game's files. The Plasm Wraith itself is literally made of just like textures and pixels that are assigned to like shape during the fight. The only part of the Plasm Wraith that is actually modeled, that actually like exists as like a model in the game's files, is that like prismatic cube inside of its body.
What I've also learned is that little fun fact that is how they modeled stuff for early GameCube and Nintendo 64. They would just take simple color palettes and assign them to take a specific shape, similar to the game Minecraft.
Yeah.
And basically, they just take that shape.
Yeah,
And
that's
all
actually
these
how
are-
Pikmin themselves were in those two games.
Yeah, that was how a lot of the GameCube era games did it.
Yeah, so it could be that maybe if the game was being worked on for the Wii or something, that they were just using like leftovers or whatnot. It could literally just be that they were just messing with the water wraith and they just kept it.
Also,
We have 1,001 ideas.
Also, something interesting to note is that the Plasm Wraith is not actually gold. It's only gold because of the lighting and the shaders that are used in game. If you were to take its model and examine it, or like if you were to take the way that it looks in the game and examine it without the shaders, it's literally just brown. It looks actually really gross.
It looks like poop.
It does. It's just...
When we were messing around with it, it was just no. Other things we found in the folder, in the files so far. Other armored cannon larva variants that just came in different colors. We found.
Have we looked for
just-
any, like, music?
Yes, we found 2 variants of the end of day theme, a sad quote-unquote theme and a happy quote-unquote theme, like in Pikmin 2. But I don't know what those sound like yet, so hopefully SBO will get those out
Oh,
soon.
I've heard them. They literally sound exactly like they did in Pikmin 1 and 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, like it's the in Pikmin 2, if you like did like a certain amount of work in one day, it had like a Valiant theme, and if you didn't do enough, it just had like this little like cheat theme that would play at the end of the day. It's the exact same thing.
Then we also found just unused values, which is, if you're really curious, we have a list here. We'll link it here, and you can see all of the notes. We will be adding more information to this as more information is discovered. Yes, we also will have a link to the cutting room floor, which is far more in depth for all of you technical, nerdy folk out there who understand half the things that this says. But yes, that is Pikmin 3 unused content. So next is new video ideas for the YouTube channel. So we were talking about some ideas that we wanted to bring back out of the channel, bring back, and we were thinking, you know, maybe all y'all out there, you lovely viewers, would have any suggestions of things to post. I know one suggestion, I think the last time we asked this, was to bring back the guides, like video guides and information. We were thinking of doing kind of like, if any of you know the Team Fortress Wiki, how they do short, like, this is how this specific weapon works. We were going to have something similar like that, like this is how this specific Pikmin works across the games, this specific enemy across the games, etc. Yeah, little guides, tutorials. No, I think we do also want to do like no death runs and whatnot. I know Tommy, Yamont392, is working on getting all the music. We're going to be adding all the music, so
We're almost done
forgive.
with Pikmin 1 music.
Yeah, so forgive us if in. Oh my goodness gracious. Really now. Forgive us if in the next month or so your sub box is flooded with like 600 songs. But they're all Pikmin songs, so that's good.
And I see, now that you said suggest video ideas, I see the comments now. It's like, how about Pikmin 3 Spotlight 3? I'm working on it.
Yeah, so
It's
there's
gonna
that.
be the best one yet, so.
When are you going to post gameplay of the Sunset Creek DLC?
I can feel like Jacob will say that. But yeah, so there's that. And then finally, the man of the hour, Patrick.
It's been awfully quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Are you alive?
And he responded, didn't he?
Oh, did you?
I think.
Yes, it said, mm-hmm.
Okay.
Even-
Yes,
I
I'm
heard
here. I'm here.
Hi there.
The purple rubber chicken, and I heard him.
So, so this is Patrick, and he is. I guess I'll try to give as much of an introduction as I possibly can, and then you can correct me when I'm wrong afterwards, and then do your little spiel, and we can ask questions. So Patrick He is from DeviantArt. He goes by the name Professor Wormwood. He does these extremely detailed scientific research notes based off of Pikmin enemies, Pokemon, how Pokemon moves would work, etc.
And also Metroid. I finished doing a whole Metroid database a few weeks ago.
Yeah, so he does all kinds of stuff. So I guess, Patrick, if you would like to take the floor.
Certainly.
Give us a brief description of this exactly.
Certainly. What I basically do is that, it really started with Pokemon. I've always been a huge fan of the series ever since I was a little child. And, the thing I love about it is that, it's built that it's enjoyable for children and adults of all ages. But the thing that I found that was lacking was a more realistic interpretation. Now, many years ago when I first started this, I looked at some of the stuff that was available in places like DeviantArt, and what it basically boiled down to was two different extremes. It was either the people who just took it purely for its fantastical construction, and those that had tried to, give it that proper scientific understanding, but in doing so, they went full science and treated them like they were ordinary animals, and they're not. There's something very innately special about them. I mean, we have Pokemon like Dialga, for example, or Palkia, deity-class creatures who are responsible for the very fabric of space-time. You cannot faithfully depict something like that as an ordinary animal. So what I have done is that I have entered these fictional worlds, and I have interpreted them from a scientific perspective, looking from the inside out. Most times when people, try to interpret the origins or understand the abilities of these creatures, they interpret it looking from the outside in. They look at the construction of the game itself and then try to interpret it from there. I take the opposite perspective, as if I am literally within the world itself, and then I use my skills as a scientist to try and understand these creatures, both for their physical reality and the fantastical abilities that make them so special. And originally I just started to do this, just based on the Pokemon. But once I had finished doing them, I figured, well, there's got to be something more. So I started looking into moves, attacks, and techniques. Then I went to abilities, and I started doing information on the gym leaders and whatnot. And before long, I have basically completed a perfect 100% scientific synopsis of literally every single minute item, creature, and life form in the entire Pokemon universe. But I wasn't done there. After that, I started looking at some other places to expand my skills upon, and I looked upon the Pikmin world. Someone had suggested to me a while ago, and I figured this might be a good idea to try out. And so I did, and I have to say, I found myself, very much in love with the series because it's built with the scientist in mind. Everything is as real as it can possibly really be, and I really appreciate that. And so I did work there. And I did about the same thing as I usually do, and then I was contacted by members of this group to, to join them in, see what they had done. And for the past, it's been well over a month now, almost maybe going on close to a month and a half that I've been with these fellows, and I really have enjoyed it. The problem I've always had is isolation. I live in the middle of nowhere for my research, not necessarily out of preference, but because of necessity. So it's been a very unique experience to be here and interact with these gentlemen. And while I've been interacting with them, I also went ahead and I actually did a similar type of project with the Metroid universe, which I just finished off about a week and a half ago. So right now I'm in a transitionary period. I'm thinking of some other things to apply my skills to, but as for right now, I basically serve as the expert of these three worlds on DeviantArt, especially Pokemon. And, I like to think that the work that I do is a nice balance between science and entertainment. I design my work so it's enjoyable by both the scientific mind and the casual gamer. So it's very difficult to find that right balance point, but I seem to have gotten a knack for it. And that's basically what I spend my life doing now, aside from actually, doing real world experience. I'm actually trying to earn a teaching degree right now in the real world. So, and I like to think that my work here actually benefits my work in my real life, and then vice versa. So, it's a very unique process, and I do it for the sake of entertainment because really no one else seems to be trying. So, Hey, if a monopoly fits, so be it, I suppose.
All right. So, would you say that like when the next Pokemon game comes out, you're going back to it?
Oh, obviously. Every time a new game comes in, I go through all my reports. I update, I rewrite, I revamp. I've been doing this for many, many years now. I'm always up to date, no matter how obscure a fact may be.
So like sometimes I really feel like we're swamping Patrick with opportunities on what to do, because I mean he already had Pikmin on his plate, and then he had Pokemon on his plate, and then he comes to this chat and we're like, hey, did you know the Monster Hunter universe has a lot of diverse life?
I asked him to try to explain stuff from One Piece.
Yeah.
It's just like it's just like I mean like and it's really cool that like you do all this stuff, but like sometimes I feel like how did he has so much stuff on his plate, like how does he juggle all of this?
It's because he's a grown-up.
And
He's a mature adult.
I'm sure that Patrick had a lot of help from the various wikis that he's been, I'm assuming, using for a lot of this research.
Yes, that is correct. I do mainly use the wikis, for the base research. But, and I will admit, and I give you guys credit, Bulbapedia is very well written. It gives me everything I really need. Here's the funny thing, though. Pikipedia is great, but Bulbapedia, they're good at, the base straight facts, but there is a slight problem, and it's not really a problem, but it's an interesting point, is that the wiki, the whole point is designed is to put in information that has been verified. But in doing so, especially with something like Pokemon that's very complicated, a lot of information is not there. So what I've had to do is I actually been applying the skills I've learned in college and real-world science to give life to these creatures, to give them a sense that there's more to them than just what you read in a Pokédex entry or what moves they have or abilities. I really try to give them a real, genuine life form setup. I try to make them as realistic as possible while still staying true to the original material.
I have a quick question, mainly aimed at Josh here. Is Bulbapedia part of Niwa?
So Bulbapedia, I believe, is part of Niwa. It is one of the big brothers.
Yeah, because I keep seeing it mentioned, but I couldn't remember like if it was. I know that it's one of the really big ones, though.
I know it's also tied with Cerebi.net. Cerebi?
Oh yeah, Cerebi, yes. Cerebi is also really nice. I will admit, and I'm not being mean to Cerebi, the way they have their stuff organized is a little confusing, but they're great if you need the latest news on the Pokemon world. They're the best place to go, I guarantee it.
So, Patrick, say again how many years you've been doing this?
Going on 6 now.
Wow, and how many posts have you made about?
I have over 3,000 deviations on my page.
And how about would you average their length are?
Well, it really depends. Some of them are a little short, like ability reports, because there's not a lot to say there because they're not species specific. Most Pokemon reports, you're like looking at about a page in length, but I have done some articles that are considerably longer, like somewhere between 5 to sometimes 15 pages. So.
Yeah, and I've seen all of your writing is pretty spot on.
I know.
It's
insane.
It's really well done. So. This is very impressive, and everyone here needs to give his page a look. I know he already has a pretty loyal following, and I'm sure they help you spot those errors that you do make on time.
Oh, yes, yes. Yes, and I do benefit it because fact errors are one thing, but the other error, and I will admit that is a problem, is spelling errors. And it's not because I don't spell, it's because I have actually very bad hand tremors. It's a side effect of a medication I used to take many years ago, and so when I type, I'll give you a general idea. It's basically something like this. So, that's basically what it turns out to, and as you might imagine, quite a few keystrokes tend to be incorrect. So I use spell check a lot. I reread everything, but the way it is editing, even if you reread it like 2, 3, 4 times, you're still likely going to miss something here or there. Which is why I'm glad I have a fan base, because they'll let me know. And I made it clear that I don't mind people correcting me, because I want to make them as perfect and succinct as possible.
And I find that impressive too, that you reread everything, because I have trouble rereading my occasional paragraphs I have for school every once in a while.
Yeah, I think that's a big like shortcoming a lot of us have. Like I remember in high school there was times where like I would write something that I would look at and I would be like, God, I can't believe I wrote this. This is actually really
Yeah.
nice."
What,
And then
no,
I
it's
give it
such-
to someone else, and within like the first 30 seconds they find something, and I'm like, ah.
No, what an issue I have is that I'll be thinking something, right? So I'll be writing out what I'm thinking, and then I go back and I'm missing important key words.
Mhm.
So like it would be like Jack and Jill went down the hill would be Jack Jill Hill. And I'll finish
I'm
the
just-
sentence,
I'm
right? Keep
just
going, and then
imagining-
halfway through the next sentence, I'm like, I did not write proper
I'm just
English.
imagining that Adam Sandler movie mixed with.
Oh God.
Jack Jill Hill.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
Jack and Jill went up a hill and then fell over the Hollywood sign.
yeah, so I'm hoping that next time we need something nice and well written for the wiki, that Patrick can lend a hand there, because we all know he's very
And I will. And I've been meaning to talk to you guys. I really do, because like I said, lately it's been pretty busy for me, especially since I'm doing some other stuff outside of here. But when I get the chance, I would love to be able to help you guys with the wiki personally. The funny thing is, I'm thinking of getting some in charge of Wikitroid, which is what I use for my Metroid work. Mainly because I spotted quite a few errors on their own pages, which are pretty
Is that the Niwa wiki or the Wikia wiki?
It's it's Wikitroid, so it's the good one. It's not Metroid Wiki. That place is a nightmare. Don't go there. It's a mess.
Oh yes, I know.
I don't think-
I'll be plain. It's basically the issue that happened with you guys with Pikipedia and the Pikmin Wiki. It's the same deal. There's one that you know it's professional, and the other one that's been thrown to the wolves.
Let me see. Wikitroid. Wait, you said Wikitroid, right?
Yes, that's the good one.
That's the Wikia one.
Yeah, it's just like Wikia just has this horrible like.
No. Wait, is Wikitroid the good one or the bad one?
Wikitroid's the good one.
Hold on, let me just search it. Hold on, and then.
The problem with the other one is that someone has been blatantly deleting pages for no reason, and it's
Oh.
devastated the entire database. So
It's like that one person that like vandalized the Pikmin wiki with a Louis page.
yes.
Wait, hold on. I'm just gonna send links real quick because the Wikitroid is the Wikia one, and then the Metroid wiki is the Niwa one, and I just want to make sure that I'm not confusing myself. So this is Metroid wiki, and this is Metroid Wikia.
Oh, guys, Patrick's talking bad about me while we gotta kick him.
I just want to make sure that I'm not confusing.
Oh, we're not
myself.
gonna be like Nintendo and fire him because he said bad things about us.
Yeah. No, yeah, the second one, Wikitroid, that's the good one. That's what I use for all my research. The Metro Wiki, I like it because it like, gives it a bit more information like on enemy locations, but the real problem is that people have been blatantly deleting pages, you know, for a long time, and what's left is short and garbled, nothing of use. It's in a sad shape, really.
Well, I will
I
say,
think he just summed up all of Wikia.
I will say Niwa does have its flaws. For instance, the Pikmin fanon.
No, okay. I'm gonna be completely honest. The reason why SBO says the
fanon's
reason
not
why the
Specifically a flaw.
Wait, did I mention that Jordan was here at the beginning? Because he hasn't said a word. Okay, just making sure.
He's just there. Quack quack.
No, the reason, according to SBO, the reason why they made the Pikmin fanon wiki was so that they can stop getting all of those, like, Pikmin fan ideas on Pikipedia itself. So they literally took all of the Pikmin fanon ideas and pushed it somewhere else.
At least it worked.
And the Pikmin fanon isn't necessarily in itself a flaw.
It's not a flaw, but it shouldn't be a Niwa. Hey, that rhymes.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a Niwa, but
Although it hasn't, the reason why it's still here, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people have been all for just getting rid of it, but the reason why it's still here is because it's in case the wave of people wanting to do Pikmin fanon ideas comes back.
So yeah,
So-
to wrap things up, we kind of got off topic a little bit there. Link to Patrick's DeviantArt.
Hold up. Little bit something important that we forgot to talk about before we wrap this all up. We gotta talk about the thing.
Thing.
Thing that I was gonna talk about.
The thing.
The thing that
Luther's thing. The thing for Luther. The thing Luther was going to share with all the lovely viewers out there. Luther, that thing. Okay, that thing. Yeah, that thing that I did the whole time.
I wasn't actually wrapping up. I was just gonna say that the link to Patrick's DeviantArt will be in the description, so please go check that out. That's very impressive. All right, Luther.
Okay, so big thing we were supposed to talk about in like a 0.5 Pikcast, but never actually got around to it. Okay, admit it. Okay, so
hold on. Can you guys hear my fan?
No.
No. Sweet. Okay.
Okay. So, anyways, I was thinking, so this is actually something we were supposed, Nathan and I were going to cover, and I think Jordan was also there, in a 0.5 Pikcast. But after a while, I decided maybe better if we didn't say that, because that would probably do more damage. It would probably do more damage. It would do more bad than good if we uploaded it in that form, especially because of some things that Nintendo ended up saying shortly after we recorded that. So I'm gonna say a little bit of more updated version. Basically, the original idea of the 0.5 video was we were going to discuss why we think the next Pikmin game, whether it be Pikmin 4 or a spin-off, Chibi, Robo, blah blah blah, the next Pikmin game, the next game about Pikmin, it needs to be on the Wii U and not the NX. And basically, to sum up the entire 45 minutes that thing was. The reason for that is because if you've ever noticed, Nintendo, and I'm not pitting this on Nintendo, I know other companies do this, but Nintendo is the biggest sinner of this sin, is that they tend to do this thing where they get so excited about their console's new hardware, well, that their launch titles are often like indirect just showcases of the new hardware. Like, for example,
Let's not forget about Sega.
Well, yeah, like I said, Nintendo's not the only one. But, like, for example, if you think about it, like, during the Wii era, all of Nintendo's first-party games, like, all had to have some, like, kind of thing that was glorifying the Wii remote gimmick and whatnot. Excuse me. Anyways, as I was saying, and then, okay, so what I was talking about was, if you think about it, Pikmin 3 was a really big victim of that. And I say victim because that game, like, Pikmin 3 was good, but I mean, it could have been better if they hadn't done stuff like this. A big example that I always use when I'm talking about this is how the Scornet Maestro battle was literally put into the game to show off how many models could be on the screen at once. Because I guarantee you, the Scornet Maestro battle would not have worked on if like Pikmin 3 was on the Wii. Like, they added that because it was going to be on the Wii U. And
now, if I can just interject real quick, now I've always felt kind of a thing, like, for anyone out there who's a PlayStation fan, the game Dead Rising was was basically, they took an engine stress test and then turned it into a game, and I feel like Pikmin might be the same thing.
Well,
like, of course I could be wrong, but I mean, I feel like that's just something that is a possible thing.
So that's actually a perfect way to explain it. Another one that I use, and I think this is the one that makes me the most angry, is the rain mechanic in Pikmin 3. Because it's not really a mechanic, it's literally just on certain days, it rains. And the only effect on gameplay the rain has is graphic-wise. Fiery enemies are still on fire. There's no added ripple effect to water, which you'd think Nintendo would jump off a cliff and immediately do. Well, like, trying to make the game look as good as possible, add like ripple effects in the water when it rains. Just like, they could have done so much more with not just the rain, but weather affecting the environment in general. But literally, its only purpose for the game was to show off, like, ooh, look at these graphic changes we can do during this environment. Look at this. And I'm like, yes, you can make things look wet and shiny, but you can't add basic bump mapping to the floor. All the floors look like GameCube textures when you zoom in. But, so yeah, like, basically the whole thing was arguing about how if Pikmin 4 ends up being a launch title for the NX, and I'm saying this off the assumption that they're going to have to rebuild the engine all over again, is that it's going to be Pikmin 3 all over again. Like, I guarantee you, like, next E3 2016, they're going to talk about something that only the NX can do. And I can guarantee you that one of the launch titles is going to have something in the game that directly glorifies that one specific gimmick. I wouldn't be surprised if all of them do, but I guarantee you there's going to be at least one. And look, and just a year from now, I'm going to come back and I'm going to gloat because I know I'm going to be right.
Well, do you remember...
Nintendo has been doing that since the 64.
I will say, because this is probably going to be... See, when was the Wii U released? What year?
2011?
2012. Well, it came out on November 18th, 2012.
So it's been 3 years. Every other Nintendo console has had a 5 to 6 year gap in between consoles. So this is going to be the shortest distance.
At E3 this year, they said that they're going to talk about it next year.
Yeah,
2016. So we have all of 2015 and then 2016, and then I'm guessing 2017 they'll release it.
Yeah, we don't even know when it's going to be released. For all we know, it could be released like in the end of 2017.
2017, 2018.
I don't think that's how it's going to happen, but I respect that because I don't really have any proof. So,
I mean, the traditional console lifespan is around 5 to 6 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So as long as the lifespan of the Wii U is around that time, people aren't gonna feel that ripped off. Admittedly, though, I already kind of feel a bit ripped off because I mean it feels like they're not really doing anything with the Wii U anymore. I mean we have Star Fox U, which I'm probably not even going to touch, and then Zelda U, and after that it seems like they're just gonna focus solely on NX. And they keep saying that. What was it? I remember a couple months before E3, Iwata was saying, I just want to clarify the NX isn't going to replace the 3DS or the Wii U, and it's not going to be this, and it's not going to be that. But then at the same time, you had Reggie who, during an interview, I forgot exactly how he worded it, but he basically said something along the lines of Nintendo's next home console, the NX. So he basically confirmed right there that it was going to be a home console, and you could argue, well, maybe he was just using that, or maybe he just kind of slipped out, or maybe he just said it. You know, sometimes you say things and you don't really think about what you say.
Like Bill Trennan in the Yellow Pikmin?
Yeah, exactly. So, but then just recently, actually, it was earlier today, actually, the new what's the name of that game? Dragon Quest.
Dragonator.
They were talking about, we're actually thinking about making a port of this game that will run on Nintendo's next home console, codenamed NX. So other companies are already producing games for it. That already tells us that it's going to not be the Wii U. It's going to be a successor. And so how is it not going to replace the Wii U unless they find a way to make them bridge together? See, and that's what I've been building up to. I want to talk about what exactly might the NX be. And I'm gonna take y'all on a little trip here. Hold on.
Do we just have the Reading Rainbow
No, I got a better one. We're going on a trip.
No, stop. I'm sorry. Anyway, as I was saying, okay, so we're gonna go on a little adventure. Okay, so let's go back in time to February of this year. All right. Not a lot of people remember it. Not even most of you did. I had to remind you.
February was a dark time.
Yeah. But back in February of this year, there was this rumor that happened called the Nintendo Fusion. And basically what it was, here, let me bring up the article right here. You literally just look up Nintendo Fusion. It's the first thing that pops up on Google. Okay, yeah, here it is. Nintendo Fusion. Oh, I'm sorry. January 21st. That's when the article first came out. So, basically February. Let's see. So basically what the rumor was, to put a long story short, Nintendo purchased a domain called Nintendo Fusion, and that was back in 2003 because they were having some kind of Camp Nintendo that was going to be called Camp Fusion, something along the lines of that. But then they rebought the domain, which is why everybody was ooh, why are they repurchasing the domain? Then somebody on NeoGAF, which, if anyone knows anything about NeoGAF, it's the rumor center of the video game industry. They brought up a list of supposed leaked specs for two consoles. One of them is called the Fusion Terminal, and the Fusion DS. Obviously, the Fusion DS was supposed to be the successor of the 3DS, and the Fusion Terminal is supposed to be the next console successor of the Wii U. And they listed some pretty interesting specs here. But the one that really stuck out, or since I first saw it, I'll read it off right here exactly word for word. 2 versions of the Nintendo Terminal, a disc slot version with 60 gigabytes of internal flash storage, and a diskless version that contains 300 gigabytes of internal flash storage. Basically what that means is that one version was going to be a traditional console that had 60 gigabytes of internal storage space, and another one with 300, but it had no disc slot, which means it was going to essentially be a digital
Cartridge.
or a digital only console, kind of like how the Xbox One was going to be before the internet exploded. So for the longest time, this rumor kind of got blown off. Nothing ever really came of it. But then what was really interesting is later on, as you read down the specs, it kind of says some things that, like, they're very weirdly worded. I'm not even gonna try to read them. But basically, it kind of made it sound like the Fusion Terminal and the Fusion DS were going to be designed with similar hardware to where they were going to be able to, like, develop one game and it could run on both, which would, like, if they could pull it off, that would be a genius move for Nintendo because you'd be saving a lot of money.
You know what I imagine? I just imagine a Wii U where you can bring the gamepad wherever you want, play like virtual console games.
That could be interesting, but I don't know.
Isn't that what the 3DS is?
I mean, yeah. Isn't that what we're saying? It's like a combination.
Okay, this is a pretty interesting pretty interesting specs for the Fusion DS, by the way. This isn't really relevant, but it's just really cool. Listen to this. Upper screen made of Gorilla Glass comes with a magnetic cover, slide-out design, and swivel tilt hinge. Which basically, you know what a swivel tilt hinge is, right?
It swivels and tilts on a hinge.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know what that
So now you can take reverse selfies.
Okay.
Oh. That's what that means.
Okay, basically what it means is that instead of the entire, because you know how, like, the DS has, like, the clamshell design, but, like, the entire, like, horizontal, like, border of it is, like, all hinged at once? It would have a single hinge in the very middle where you could open it up and also, like, kind of turn the top screen around and stuff like that. I don't know what the practical use of that would be, but it sounds pretty cool. But anyways, the reason I bring this up is because later on, Nintendo, specifically Iwata, and I think Miyamoto actually mentioned it at one point, started talking about things that kind of alluded to a cross the bridge sort of console, if that makes sense. Like you guys know what I'm saying, right? Yeah, like they started talking about things like that. But then the big ball dropper happened yesterday, or was it 2 days ago? I believe it was Friday night. Nintendo purchased the patent for a console without a disc slot. And everybody was like, whoa, that sounds weird. I've never heard of such a thing. But then I was like, wait a minute, I've heard of such a thing. So I thought back and I was like, that's what they said about the friggin' Nintendo Fusion thing. So, like, over time, it almost sounded like the Nintendo Fusion thing was becoming more and more legit. And unlike most rumors, this is one of those rumors that never really got debunked. No one ever really talked about this one after, like, about a week after it happened.
Let's not forget, though, that this newest patent, it seems to take cartridge-based games or something.
Okay, it doesn't say anything about a cartridge. It says a card slot. It's referring... Well, people are assuming it's referring to SD cards and stuff like that.
It doesn't look like an SD card slot, though, from the looks of the patent.
Wait. Okay, wait, was there, like, an actual, like...
There was a diagram.
Wait, I have to see this. Can you possibly link this to me? Because all I saw was an article that had no pictures, and I read about it.
Yeah, let me find it.
Well, they're researching this. I just have a quick question. I don't know if any of y'all would know. You guys remember how, like, Mega Man had TV shows?
Mm-hmm.
You guys ever watch, like, the 2003 to 2005 one where it was, like, Mega Man with the dragon arm
I never...
that would talk to him?
I never...
Didn't they use cards? Like, they would have, like, little trading cards and they would scan them in to use those, like, machines. What if that's what this is? It's gonna be that really bad Mega Man show that no one really talks about or remembers that much except for, like, me and 2 other people. And
Are you talking about Star Force?
So
I think, yeah, Mega Man Star Force.
it's a very basic diagram, and I'll put the picture here in the Pikcast. However, it does say memory card. However, it does have like a first basic program and a second basic program, and the size ratio doesn't seem to make any sense comparatively. Unless this console is super freaking small.
What is this? Hang on, I've never seen this before. What is this?
This was
It looks
August.
like a box with tiny little legs.
This was 4 days ago. They've got a controller thing, which apparently is like a wired controller, or I guess the line means it's. I guess the line means it's wireless.
Processor, memory, communication, display. Okay, that's where it goes into the TV. That's where it would connect to the internet if someone was using internet wires. Memory card goes in there, so that's like the GameCube.
There's also this. And I'll try to fit these both side to side.
Game apparatus.
Whenever you, Nathan, be sure that you're displaying these images on the actual podcast.
And it seems like it says game apparatus. What does apparatus? I know what it means, but I need to.
Basically, that just means it'll plug into it. Like
Exactly.
On the first patent, it's a display apparatus, and so the game apparatus
Wait a
is
minute, wait a minute.
But look, the game apparatus is plugging into the controller.
Wait. The controller is gonna have a display unit? Wait, so it's gonna be another gamepad?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's going to. I think you're going to be plugging games into the controller, very similar to the 3DS. However, it seems to connect to a console, which makes me think it's like a Wii U where you can take the gamepad where you want.
Okay, like I'm a little bit. I'm a little bit like upset about this because one problem that I've always had, like throughout the years that I've had a Wii U, is that whenever the controller breaks, I'm left without a way to play most of the games, because even if a game doesn't exactly need the gamepad to work, it still prompts you to turn the gamepad on before you can use it. Like even Netflix required you to turn on the gamepad. Like whenever I would send it away and it would be like a week at Nintendo of America getting repaired, there was like I think maybe like 4 games I could play.
Okay, let me clarify. I just read an update added to this post that was not there when I first saw this post. This is a translation. This diagram is a translation of the patent by a person.
Wait, so it was all in like Japanese or something?
No, it's an image translation. So this was all written down in words, and someone tried to make a diagram to the best of their ability.
Okay.
So this diagram is not official.
Okay. Also,
it looks very official.
I just want to clarify right now, guys. Don't expect amazingly like holy crap, what are these graphics from the NX? Because I'm pretty sure the NX is going to have amazing graphics. Like it will probably have like Xbox One and PS4 tier graphics, but we already know, and like you can't really deny this anymore. AMD is going to be the ones designing the system of a chip for the NX, because they've already said that they're making a processor for a Nintendo device. And AMD, like the graphics for the PS4 and the Xbox One, they did that, and that's about as far as they've gotten so far. They haven't been able to really they haven't been able to come up with a practical, cost-efficient way to display 4K graphics or anything like that. So don't expect don't expect like PC trumping visuals.
Okay. This kind of, I'm glad you brought this up, because this kind of wraps it back up to Pikmin 4.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think that part of the reason consoles are kind of, I think consoles are going to die. They're not really dying yet, but I think they're going to die very shortly. And I won't get into that, but like I think that as technology advances, I mean, you look at the NES and you look at the games we have now. And so the graphics have changed so differently, and they've progressed gradually over time. And so as new consoles come out, it's like, oh, that's a big difference. There was a big difference between the Wii and the Wii U. But the thing is there's not a big difference between the Wii U and 4K. So even if like a company does manage to get out,
hold up. Okay, you do know what 4K is, right?
It's a visual display. I know it's not processing power.
No. I'm saying a 4K is literally 4 times sharper than 1080p. If you've ever seen a 4K TV like on display at like a local electronics store, there is a difference. I think what you mean to say is there isn't that much of a big difference, like not polygon, but texture-wise between the games. Like that I agree with, but like in terms of pixel count, there is a massive difference.
I understand that. What I mean What I mean is that when you look at a game that's in 4K and you look at a game that's in 1080p or whatever, like resolution, high resolution, you can see a difference, but the 1080 is still impressive, and it's still, you can still have just as much fun playing like Mario Kart 8 and as you can Smash Bros, even though they're in different resolutions.
Yeah, like, and I do agree with that. See, that's actually what really annoys me about it's, oh God, it's just, I was actually reading some article on this a couple days ago about some people complaining that the highest graphics of the console versions of the Batman Arkham Knight game that came out is 900p, while the PC version goes up to 1080. I'm like, okay, if I were to sit you down in front of a TV and show you 1080p, 900p, and 720p, you may be able to see the difference between the 720p and the 1080p, maybe, if you're sitting close enough. But I guarantee you, you do not see the difference between 900p. And it's a very small change.
And that's why I'm thinking that soon, I mean, technology is always advancing, but we're at the point right now where our eyes can literally not process these things better. Like 4K, no, so unless we start upgrading our eyes, I don't think that the consoles upgrading in technology is going to be what's the big deal. The big deal is going to go back to...
Well, we've already surpassed our eyes, because like scientists have said that our eyes are approximately, like our resolution of our eyes is approximately 6.8 megapixels. The phone on my camera is 20 megapixels. It's a Nokia Lumia phone. They're built.
Yep.
They're built to have like photographer quality cameras. It's a beautiful camera, but that is literally like almost 4 times the power of my eye.
I don't know. You can zoom into those photos and they're still in high definition.
Yeah, exactly.
So
You know what I think this means, and forgive me because I feel like this might derail this whole thing, but y'all remember there's that one game, I think it was like on 3DS, where you got the book and you would open it up and stuff would come out of the book if you looked at it to the 3DS?
I think so.
Like, basically, what I think is that this NX is going to be so freaking powerful, or the console after the NX or whatever is going to be so powerful, we're going to be able to see spirits, and Nintendo is actually going to create an official Ghostbusters company.
Dude, they're going to purchase a full frame.
And basically what's going to happen is you're just going to see a bunch of kids running through the streets with like Oculus Rift on and whatnot, and these weird like Nintendo power gloves, and they're just going to be running through, just punching what look like a bunch of like idiots just go running through the streets punching the air, but they're actually like boxing the ghost of like Muhammad Ali or something like that.
I think the only way that's gonna happen is if they can put Luigi in with a proton pack.
Yes. Okay, actually.
So to finish my thought.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What I was saying is, like, I don't think that Pikmin 4 is going to have a different engine, because I don't think that upgrading the looks and how things perform in that way is going to be a necessary thing for the next game in the series. And so I feel like because of that, it won't be nearly as rushed as Pikmin 3 was.
I really hope it's not, because I feel that if, like, with the current technology we have for, like, Pikmin right now, if we were to make a game using that and not rush Nintendo this time, we'll get, like, the best Pikmin game, like...
I don't care if it looks just like Pikmin 3.
Yeah.
Pikmin 3 looked good! Pikmin 3 looked excellent! I did have a little bit of lag sometimes when playing Pikmin 3.
Okay, the only time I ever had lag... Okay, there's only 2 times in Pikmin 3 I noticed lag, and I'm really sensitive to lag because my TV interlaces frames, so when there's lag, it's really obvious. The only 2 times I've ever experienced lag in Pikmin 3, okay, sorry, 3 times, is when you accidentally set 100 Pikmin on fire. When you accidentally set 100 Pikmin on fire, when you're flying away or landing in the end of day or beginning of day cutscenes, and when the juice is pouring. For some reason, when the juice pours, like, the engine chugs. Yeah, like, I don't know why.
There's actually one instance of lag that I can explain. There's one instance of lag when you suck up the Mirror Slug and the armored Macrad. That's one that I've noticed a lot, is that it lags really, really badly. Like, your frames drop to like 5 to 6 frames.
Oh, I haven't had that.
A consistent frame rate of 5.
I see it a little bit more often in Bingo Battle when some absurd things happen on a big stage.
Like when rocks fall everywhere.
All
Well,
the Pikmin die.
The reason
and some
why,
bosses.
at least I can explain for the Mirslug and Modad, are because their models are being condensed. So they're taking like an 1,000 polygon model and then squishing it together really tiny. And obviously, the console's not happy with that. But it has to do what it has to do, so there's that. But really, I think for Pikmin 4, the only thing they would fix is just give it more, I guess, processing power, to make it just run more smooth, condense things, make it smaller.
I mean, they're gonna work more with visual effects.
The big thing you're gonna need
Yeah.
is
But the textures look
that has a lot of things running around is processing power. That's it.
Yeah, if they can get the processing power down, I mean, sure, they can make Pikmin 3 longer.
And I mean, it's not they can't press that like it's going to be a technological advancement because we already have computers easily able to achieve that processing power. So if they do advertise it, it's gonna be a big bluff, and it's gonna be really idiotic of them. So I hope they don't.
It runs Pikmin 4 pretty well.
I mean,
That's
okay,
what
we don't.
for the NX.
We still don't really know the specs of the Wii U.
Yeah, they've never released a full official spec.
So we don't really know exactly where it stands with the PS4 and the Xbox 360, but I have heard so many times that the Wii U runs games better than both of the other consoles.
That actually is true, and it's not that they run games better. It's that games that are found on all three consoles, which is rare. The Wii U runs them the smoothest.
And it's not only that, but most of Nintendo's console games are by Nintendo, and Nintendo codes their games in a way that's very processor relaxing. Like, they make it so that it doesn't exert too much. They close things off that don't need to be
They
run.
mess with their own engine instead
They
of having a
control
lot of second and third parties messing with their engine.
They Control Alt Tab whenever they're getting lag, or Control Alt Delete whenever they're getting lag, their processes. Anyway.
Is there anything else you guys like to talk about the NX that's of dire importance?
Nothing. Nothing on my end.
Jordan, are you still alive?
Where?
Okay. So, yeah, I guess that's everything. And, yeah. So let me just find, okay, so I guess quick summary. We did an introduction, Amiibo stuff, merchandise stuff. Go buy Pikmin merchandise as long as it's reasonably priced. Chibi Robo stuff, Pikmin 3 file ripping, which keep a lookout on that. YouTube idea stuff, Patrick interview / Patrick's things stuff. So go check out Patrick's DeviantArt. I was about to say channel, but I don't know if he has one. Go check out his DeviantArt and do the whole liking and favoriting and gifting of llamas. We talked about NX, which wasn't on the script initially, but because we forgot to add it. And now here we are at the summary.
And so also in the description, all of the links Josh has mentioned, as well as our Twitter page, and the link to the wiki, and the different wiki articles we've been talking about, as well as any material sourced in this video, and the music used in it.
Yes.
All of that will be
And
mentioned.
so make sure you like, favorite, subscribe, comment, share, retweet, reblog, revlog, relog,
Where?
Reboot,
reboot, replug,
replay.
pause, fast forward, rewind, do that
Resuck.
whole thing where you can make do that thing in the settings that makes everything twice as fast. Watch this video in 360p, 480p,
420p.
420p. 1080p if we have it, 720p. Watch this in all 3 different screen
Watch
sizes. We
this in
have
4K resolution.
4K resolution on the NX. Watch this on the Wii U. Watch this on the 3DS. Watch this on all 5 smartphone devices you most likely don't have.
Download the wave in the description and listen to it on all
Use
your favorite
YouTube
music.
to MP3 to download this, so you can listen to this on your way to work, at school. Hack into your school's intercom thing and play it over the school, and then get yourself kicked out of school because that's extremely illegal to most school rules.
On a
I'm
more
being a bad example, and I think we should just wrap this up now.
on a more serious note, it will actually be available on SoundCloud, so
Yes.
you can listen to that if you prefer.
Listen to our hot mixtapes,
The
fam.
link of that will also be in the description.
So, yeah.
Oh,
We already did that whole list of things to do. So, captains, dismissed.
Golden time.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.